Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining the Castles of Tuscany. So this is a 2 to 4 player game. It is a Stefan Feld game. If you've watched my videos before, you'll probably be aware that I'm quite a fan of his games. This feels like his older games, like the Castles of Burgundy, but a little bit lighter in terms of the thought process. It's a different game. It sounds like it's a similar game, and it's kind of using the same ideas, but it's definitely a different game, so it's worthwhile having both. On that, I was desperately hoping to be able to get the big box of Castle of Burgundy to be able to do a gamesplane of that on the back of this or before this one. I haven't managed to get my hands on a copy of it, even though it's been out for like a year. It's just really hard to get at the moment. So I may or may not do that in the future. Just look out for it if it does come up. The whole essence of this game is you have three options on a turn. You're either going to take some cards into your hand, or you're going to take a token off the table to put into the things that you're going to eventually play onto your own board, or you're playing cards out of your hand in order to play those tokens onto your board. The spaces that you're allowed to go to is directly next to one of the tokens that's already on your board. Whenever you play a token, you get a benefit, and depending on what the token is, it will give you a different benefit. In order to play that token, you need to have a pair of cards in your hand that are the same place as that token. You can replace one or both with a pair of other cards. So theoretically, you could play two pair of something totally different to play this one token down. But that's not necessarily a good way to play. It's not necessarily good management of your hand, because you're using cards for things that, like, for twice as much as you really want to be using your cards for. You can get benefits which enable you to take more cards in or hold more things and a whole bunch of different stuff. And you can see that in my Gamesplain to get an idea of what I'm actually talking about with that. But manipulating that board and the amount of stuff that each player can hold within that board is actually really important to playing the game and to understanding the game. Now, this game has a couple of additions. The rules, if you've actually seen or heard anyone else talking about this game, you'll probably notice they've said that the rules in English are a little bit dodgy, with a little bit of the essence of things aren't the same as what's in the German, which is the original language of the game. I have used the rule set that has come off BGG rather than the rule set in the box. I haven't actually looked to see how different, or if they are different at all. But the one thing to really be aware of is at the end of the game, you finish the round, and then everyone gets one more turn. It doesn't just automatically finish when you get to the finishing point. That seems to be the biggest forward and back on which way do we go with that. So that's the rule set that I've used. I hope that's the right rule set. I hope that that's got everything right. Please comment below on either this video or the Gamesplain if I have actually missed a rule or got the wrong version of a rule in there. That's fine. I'm happy for you to put them down, because this one's one of those games that I actually held back on doing for a while, simply because I wasn't quite sure which rules to use. So I figured that going with the BGG rule set and of going off that is probably the quickest and easiest way to make sure I'm close to the correct rules, because I assume that would be the most correct rules. If you have played Castles of Burgundy, this has the same feel as building up the area on your board, and when you fill up an area, you get to score that area. So going for larger areas is going to get you a larger score, but it's hard to get. That kind of similar thing, but there's vast differences. It feels like this is a far easier, simpler movement of the game. It's now, to be fair, it's been a number of years since I played Castles of Burgundy. I don't actually own a copy of it. I did play someone else's copy and go, okay, cool, I understand what's going on now. Which is why I'm hoping to get the anniversary edition and Gamesplanet, because I need to get my head around those rules as well. But from memory of the game, it feels really similar, but it does feel different at the same time, because there's this board of I can do all this extra stuff if depending on what I've managed to put into that board, and each tile I put down is going to give me a different benefit. And I'm putting tiles into my own spot. I have 8 to choose from, and I don't have to roll any dice. I think that's the biggest difference with this one. There's no dice rolling in this game at all. So if you're not a fan of dice, this is probably the better version for you to go with. I really enjoyed the play. I think it's a fine game. As I said before, I'm a huge fan of Stefan Feld. He's definitely within my top 5 designers. I don't know exactly where in that top 5 he is, but he's definitely in the top 5 designers for me personally. So I try to get my hands on every Stefan Feld that comes out, simply because I really like his games as a general rule. So look, I will leave it there. Please go ahead and watch my Gamesplay and Gamesplanation to get a feel for the game and how it actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.